Hi, today in class you're going to be continuing your soils lab. This is what the paper looks like. There should be some on the bookshelf just in case you have lost yours. We already read through all of this. Last class we filled out this table right here of soil particle characteristics. This is going to guide you in identifying your soil type. We already described the color and did the microscope as well as determined airspace. Double check and make sure that you have an answer right here as to what type of soil you think you have. You can find the soil types in the reading at the top. Your soil types to choose from include sandy soils, loamy soils, clay soils, and you can have a mixture of all of those. The next part that we did was mix our Calgon solution and our soil and shake well. Today you're going to fill out the rest of this part. So the first thing that you need to do is measure the height of your soil and then measure the height of the sand, the height of the silt, and the height of the clay. To do this, you're going to need to grab your soil sample from the back and a ruler from the container on the front counter. When you're finished measuring, please put your ruler back in the container on the front counter. Please watch the video to learn how to measure the height of your soil, the height of your sand, the height of your silt, and the height of your clay.
When we're measuring the height of our soil, we want to use the side that says centimeters. Each of these tiny lines is going to be a millimeter. So we're going to hold our ruler up to our cup. And then you can see on here clearly where the soil stops and the water begins. Is it about, let me get my thing set up here. .5 or 25 millimeters. So in my paper I would put 20. The next thing we're going to do is measure the height of each layer within our cup. So in our cup we should have layers of sand, silt, and clay. See if I can get a good image of this here. Maybe this way. So in your cup you can kind of see the patterns of layers. So our sand is going to be this area down here of a darker color, and then our silt will be this next lightest layer right here, and then our clay is going to be this top band at the top, and then floating on top of that top band we have organic matter. Sand we would measure in millimeters. So that would look to be about 15. And then our silt is the next layer, which might be about 2. And our clay, maybe about 3 or 4.
So just when you're looking at your own jar, here's a general idea of sand, loam, and clay soil and what it can look like. So it's okay if your sandy layer is really high and you might not be able to see any of these other layers, or you could have a really thick clay layer, or they could be even. So if you're not getting the same results as I did in the example, I wouldn't worry about it. So I put that information that we just found into my worksheet. I have the height of the sand as 15 millimeters, the silt is 2, and the clay is 3. The next thing that we are if you add all of these up, it'll equal the height of your soil. So those should be the same. The next thing that we're going to do is use the following formula on the next page to calculate the percentage of the soil sample, and then we're going to use a soil texture triangle to determine the soil sample type. So the first thing that we need to do is find the percentages for each of our sand, silt, and clay. To find the percentage, you take the height of the settled layer divided by the height of the soil originally. So for sand, in my case, it's going to be 15 because that was the height of my sand, divided by 20, which is the height of the soil. So I'm going to type 15 divided by 20 into my calculator, and I get 0.75. Then I need to multiply it by 100. So my percentage of sand is going to be 75%. I'm going to do the same thing for my silt and my clay. So I have 10% and then 15%. After that, we're going to use this soil texture triangle to figure out what type of soil we likely have. So here's our soil texture triangle. This works kind of like a graph. So the first thing that we have here is our 75% sand. So on my soil texture triangle, I'm going to find where it says sand here, and I see that the arrow is going up and to the left. So if I have 75% sand up and to the left, parallel with the other lines that are going up and to the left, I will draw a line right here. The next thing that I have is 10% silt. So I'm going to find where it says silt, and I see that my arrows are going down and to the left. So at 10% silt, I'm going to draw a line down and to the left. And lastly, I have 15% clay. If I find the clay, I see the arrow is going straight horizontally to the right. I'm going to find where 15% is and draw a line straight across horizontally to the right. Ooh, that's not a great line. We're looking for the area here where all of our lines intersect. So we can see that all of the lines intersect right there. That is going to be in this blue part right here. And so our soil type is going to be sandy loam. If you look further on your paper, you see where it says, based on my analysis, the type is, and oops, I would put sandy loam, or whatever it is that you found. So that's going to conclude our portion on describing the contents of our soil. The next video will be over pH and the nutrient tests.